So many fun things happening in this episode, all about traveling with three generations. Do you have kids or grandkids? Have you thought about traveling on an adventure holiday with them? What about traveling internationally with 8 kids, 9 years and under, to New Zealand for a ski holiday when none of the kids had ever tried it before or even seen snow? Well, that's exactly what this episode is about, and I've roped in a highly experienced guest host to help me share how this might just be the perfect holiday destination for your family adventure. But we don't just talk skiing, we cover lots of other things great for every generation to do in this spectacular part of New Zealand that does not cost a fortune, including going to a snow farm. Have you ever heard of such a thing? And no, they're not growing things in snow. We cover our favourite family adventure activities, the best walks around the lake for kids and old nanas like me, and the best place to stay and how to minimise the cost of kids' ski gear. You will hear about one of the most magical experiences we all had together that one of the 4-year-old grandkids described in his amazement as being in a snow globe, and that was a pretty accurate description. We all love this holiday so much that we are already planning when we can do it again. For me, it was especially amazing. Being with all the people I love most in the world, having the best time together. I'll keep those memories in my heart forever. Oh, now I'm getting all teary. Okay, stay listening to the end when we tell you what some of the highlights were for the kids and, of course, our favourite place for a mulled wine, and there were so many to choose from. So please enjoy, as I wipe away my tears, episode 75. Well, here we are back in Queenstown in the gorgeous New Zealand, and I'm so excited about this episode because we are talking about a trip that was planned for so long, and it involved 3 generations. And so from me, the grandparent, to my children and all their partners, and my 8 grandchildren. And I'm also excited because today I'm welcoming back the only other co-host I've had on this show besides Lyle, and that is Michaela from Easy Family Adventures, or as I like to call her, my daughter. Hi, Mickey.
Hi, great to be back.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about it too.
I know, it was the best holiday, wasn't it? And the reason I've got Michaela on instead of Lyle is because we want to talk about actual being in Queenstown in this part of New Zealand with children, and how much fun it is, and the different activities you can do. So whether you're a mum of young kids or a grandparent like me, there's going to be something in this for you today. But before we get started, Mickey, I was going to tell you later, but I'll tell you now. I've found a really cool new podcast. I'm always looking for other travel podcasts, and I thought it was really good because we're talking about mountains and skiing and views and everything. And you know how our podcast is Beach Travel Wine, or this one is it's called Mountain Town Ramblers, and they're a Canadian couple, and they talk about all the mountains and the beautiful national parks and in Canada, and they talk about Banff and Jasper Park, and you'd really love it. Yeah, they make it sound so beautiful. And they actually say that they think it's one of the most beautiful places on earth, and that's what we think about Queenstown, right? So, it might be a bit of a dueling lake mountain podcast thing. So, but go and check out that if you're obviously a podcast listener, a travel podcast listener, you'd love it too, Mickey. But it's Mountain Town Ramblers, and their website's really cool because they've got a blog like I do on ours, and we've got all the pictures and everything. And and the other thing that's really cool, and I'm going to steal this from them, is they put in while they're out hiking, like they do like record themselves talking about where they are and what they're doing. So the last one, they're just doing in the middle of this 31K hike, and they're getting to the end, and and they're sort of talking about where they've been, how they're feeling. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Wow. So yeah, Mountain Town Ramblers podcast. There's a little hint for everybody, and you, darling. So,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. So
I would love to visit there one day. So
yeah, and I didn't say the name. Teresa and Kyle, really nice people too. All right, let's get back to Queenstown. So, how good was this holiday? How did you love the holiday?
Oh, it was the dream trip that you just hope that you'll have with your family. And things always go wrong, but this is one of those trips where it just was a dream. It was magical.
But we did start the accommodation where we stayed which I mentioned in the previous podcast, episode 74, is called the Glebe Apartments. I didn't talk much about it because I thought that you and I could have a quick chat because it's in a great spot. And we've got to thank Talia, my daughter-in-law, your sister-in-law. We probably should say who's on this trip. I probably should go back to that. So
Sure.
we got 3 generations. There's me, the Nana, and Lyle, and then there's my 3 adult children. So there's Jake, who's the oldest, who's married to Phoebe, and their 4 kids. We've got Cody, who's married to Talia, and their 2 little boys, and then we've got Michaela and her hubby Chris, and their 2 little ones. So we've got 8 adults and 8 kids, and Talia found the accommodation for us, and she chose this position because she probably wasn't going to be skiing, and it was going to be close to town, and I don't think you could get a more perfect spot.
Oh, I agree. When we got there, it just we saw everybody. We were a little bit later than you arriving, and so when we eventually got to the apartment, we came in and we just saw this big courtyard that was enclosed on all sides, and we were all neighbours to each other.
It was
and
fabulous,
the kids
wasn't it?
were just like, "Oh, yay! This is going to be the best ever!" Like they could have spent the week there.
Yeah, it was perfect position. The apartments were great, and we got upgraded. We had the biggest apartment of all, I think. Oh, probably not. Jake and Phoebe did, but it was
that.
Yeah, it was. So we
Good for you. I would have reminded to upgrade.
It was a great start to the week, wasn't it? But we were there, well, for lots of reasons, but basically to a ski holiday, because all the boys in the family, there's Lyle, Chris, Jake, and Cody, the big boys. They're all keen. Well, Jake and Lyle ski, and Chris and Cody snowboard. But they just wanted to go skiing, right? And so you and I, because get this, Lyle said to me, those snow pass cards, they're so good, you just hand them over and everything's on there, and they give you what you need. And I'm like, well, there's a bit more to it than that.
Yeah, just a bit behind the scenes work, getting everything organized here.
So we're trying to organize. Michaela and I were having lessons, and your 2 kids were, one's 7, and so she was having proper ski lessons, and the little one's not quite 5, so he was in the ski wheel land, which you're going to tell us about in a minute. And the boys wanted their ski gear, and Lyle needed a lesson, and so we're trying to organize it so we can all be up the mountain at the same time. We probably left it a little bit too late, and that's probably a good hint for people is, you need to book well ahead of time, because it's very busy, and we were a couple of weeks out, and we had to sort of juggle things around a bit, but it was worth it, right? We got it organized, and
if you want to do lessons, they do book out quickly.
Yes. Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. Just the ski passes don't. So so we headed up to Coronet Peak to ski. That was our first day, really, because it's 16 k's or 20 minutes drive, and it's the closest one, and because they have Skiwi Land, which is like a preschool daycare sort of centre for like 1 to 5-year-olds, is it?
Yeah, pretty much. So they've got 2 sections, so you can put your kids in just to do daycare while you're out hitting the slopes or having a mulled wine in the bar. Or if you actually want your younger, so preschoolers and toddlers, to have a go at skiing, they have lessons for 3 to 5-year-olds. So it's part of the preschool program there. So they don't just spend the whole time out doing lessons in the day, but they make it a lot of fun for the kids. So they do snow play and snow crafts, and they do your usual preschool songs, dancing in the snow, and just make it a lot of fun for the younger kids. Yeah.
And then they've got their own little magic carpet that they ride on their little skis, and their little toboggans that they go down, and
it's so cute.
It is, yeah.
It's amazing. Like the Skiwiland is situated right next to where the big outdoor eating area is, and where the adults go for their lessons as well. So you can kind of just pop past and see them all day, and it's so cute. They're on their learning to go up the magic carpet, and then they sort of practice just I don't know, walking around in their snow boots, and then eventually they go on the skis and have a go going down this like tiny gentle slope.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so fun.
I remember your little fella. He was one of his favourite things was how many hot chocolates he had in a day.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, so part of ski land is that
They feed
the
them too.
food and yeah, all the food and the skiing gear is
Mm,
included. And so you don't have to worry about packing
mm,
lunch boxes, which is amazing when you're on holidays. And they say they
yeah.
have this lovely, healthy lunch. And at the end of the day, we'd pick him up and say, "So, what'd you have for lunch?" Because you want to suss it out. And he says, "Oh, I didn't really feel like eating that stuff. So I just had hot chocolate." And he had
Yeah.
about five in one day,
Yeah.
just kept going back for more.
But what a great thing. Like I never obviously didn't know anything about it up until, like we've been there
Yeah.
with kids. And I think he had two other little of his little cousins join him on a couple of
Yeah,
days. So
different
that
days.
was, yeah,
Hmm.
different days. So that was a bit of fun. So, so we've got, the skiwi land for the little fellow who's nearly 5. And then the 3 sort of older grandkids, aged sort of 9, and 2 of them are 7. um,
Yep.
they actually did lessons, right?
Yeah, so a group kids ski lesson, and we managed to get them into a class together. So
Mm,
when you get there, if you check in together, they'll let the kids go in together.
yeah. And we were watching them, and they started, and I saw a couple of videos of Ivy doing it, and Sam, and they start sort of going down the slope very, I don't know, cautiously. And
Yeah.
by day 3, these kids are zipping down a blue run. Like, oh yeah, unbelievable, wasn't it?
Oh, it was insane. I couldn't
Mm,
believe it. They just I don't know how they pick it up so quickly. Like the first day you watch them, and it's so funny because they're falling over and they're wobbly, and they're honestly just like all of those kids. It's the first time they'd been in the snow,
yeah.
so they're way more interested in just picking up snow and having a little taste and
Oh,
seeing if they can throw it and like
yeah,
just checking everything out. So they're so distracted. But
yeah.
yeah, by the third day, it's unbelievable how much the kids they just
Mm,
have no fear,
no
and
fear.
I couldn't figure out how they do it, but they just zoom.
I was so
They're
proud of them.
not scared of going fast.
That was incredible, seeing that. And then you and I had lessons, because you've never even put skis on your feet on, before, had you? No.
No, well, you actually had to convince me to do it. So I
Yeah. And I knew you'd love
think
it, and I knew you'd
last
be good
time,
at it.
yeah,
And so you and
it
I
was,
booked lessons together,
yeah.
and it was like the first time on the snow. Now, I have skied before, but I still call myself a beginner ski. Every time I go, I get lessons, and I just go back and start. But that's where I'm happy. So we went to the beginners lessons, and you picked it up,
Hmm.
so quickly. But how did you feel? Like, what was it like?
Look, I picked up everything quickly except stopping.
Yeah.
That was
That's,
my challenge.
yeah.
So once I mastered the stopping, it was good. That made me feel a lot more confident. And
Yes.
I just couldn't believe yeah, just what it was like. And then just the whole thing was an amazing experience because we've got all the kids doing their lessons and you and I are together
Yeah.
and you're in this beautiful setting. Like you get to go, I couldn't wait to go up the magic carpet because you just get to stop and look and take in the views
I was
of
going to say, I was
the
going to
whole
ask you
area
actually
and the
about the
mountains
views.
and
Yeah.
Queenstown.
Yeah. The views are
Yeah.
spectacular, aren't
So
they?
I mean, it's worth doing a ski lesson just to do that.
Sure, sure. So here we are,
Yeah. It
like
was fun. It was,
me and my daughter, and Anna,
yeah.
and my daughter, and we're on the same slope as, the 3 older grandkids, and we're watching them, and we were calling out, and yeah, it was sort of, it'll stick in my memory banks forevermore. And I'm hoping the
Yeah.
kids are old enough that they'll remember it as well. And
Yeah.
honestly, by the end of the third day, Michaela is, she's up skiing, like with all the boys, coming down with them, and like it's a pretty special thing to do, isn't it? I reckon. I just love it,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and we
And
can't wait to go back.
it's just oh exactly. Yeah. I think whether you're a beginner or like way advanced, it's just a fun spot to be with the family and get
Sure.
together and have a go together. And even just
Just
we're going up the magic carpet and the kids are going up the chairlift and yeah, it's just
waving,
magical.
and yeah, and just quickly, you
Yeah,
bought
throwing the odd snowball.
yes,
And Charlie, one of the little 7-year-old grandkids, he's heading down the mountain with these big chunks of ice all the time, like picking up snow.
Yeah,
Oh man!
just
But
saving it for later.
yeah, right. But just a really quick hint for people that, think, well, what about all the gear and hiring it? You actually bought clothes for your kids and some for you. And I know
Yeah.
Talia bought some for her kids. People are always selling snow gear for kids online. And
Yeah.
it's reasonably priced. And when your kids grow out of it, then you can sell it as well. It's not expensive to get your kids fitted out, is it?
No, exactly. That's the best way to do it, is just keep an eye out on the secondhand sales online. And I mean, everything's still in such good condition because kids go up a size every year.
Yes.
More often sometimes. So
yeah. And I believe you bought yourself a ski jacket now. You're a skiing family.
Oh yeah, sure did. I actually borrowed all of my ski gear from other people and used that to make a good decision, and we're ready to go back.
Yeah, I did find it just so I did say it's in the previous episode. Sometimes getting the gear organised that first day is a bit of an effort, but it's certainly worth it, isn't it? And I do remember you sneaking back and before you picked the kids up from the lessons and having a mulled wine. Is that something you might have done?
Yeah, look, it was my goal every day I was in New Zealand to have at least one mulled wine. Felt like that's what you do when you go to the snow for winter holiday. So I'm very proud of that.
Oh, and I'm very proud of all the kids, but it was such a joy seeing the happiness on your face too. I'm so glad I got to share that with you. It was awesome, wasn't it? So would we recommend the skiing, the ski land, the ski lessons, and for the kids and for yourself as well. It's never too late to learn, is it?
Definitely, it's awesome.
Yeah, great fun. Another really fun thing that the kids loved was going up the gondola. And that's sort of right in the heart of Queenstown. And I don't know how many could fit on one, but the gondola goes up pretty high, all the way up to the top of I should know the name of that mountain. I can't remember what it was, but when we went up, it was a beautiful sunny day. Remember, it was so blessed with
clear
the weather.
Views. Yeah, lake was blue.
Yeah, and you're going all the way up, and you're just watching the views, and the kids are excited. And the reason they were going up was because there's it's like a luge, right? So it's like a track, and it's like a little toboggan on wheels, I guess you'd call it. Would you?
Yeah, kind of like downhill go-kart without a motor.
Without a motor, yeah. And so the bigger kids were all going to do it with like a mum or a dad, and there was the two little babies, the 2 1-year-olds. They stayed in the beautiful big cafe area with Nana, and there's actually a really cool little playground for little toddlers in there, and they had it to themselves. It was an absolute ball for them, and everyone else went out and either had a go, but you got to go up a chairlift as well, don't you? I think that was a bit scary.
So we didn't realize you had to actually catch a chairlift to get up to the luge, and we hadn't mastered that yet on our ski days, so I was a bit daunted, to be honest. And especially doing it with the little kids, like
I know, right?
The youngest with us was 3, so you're thinking, oh gosh, this isn't child safety standards. But it was so fun. Like the kids were stoked, and you hop in the lift, and then you're going up, and you just have these panoramic views of the whole of Queenstown and the surrounding mountains, and we can look over and see the slopes of Coronet Peak.
Yeah.
So it was that was part of the fun, was catching the chairlift up, definitely.
And if you want to see sort of some of the views and the chairlifts, I've got lots of pictures, about our time there. And so if you just go to the website at Beach Travel Wine, and this is episode 75, or just click the link in the podcast player that you're listening on now to see some of those views, because you won't believe it. It was just stunning. And so you went down with one of your kids. You went down with your 7-year-old, did you? Did you take?
Yeah. So we had like a 6 pass, so 6 rides.
Yeah.
So you line up, and they give you a little induction and show you how to use the controls, and tell you to stick to the slow lane, basically.
Yeah.
On your first run. So we had an adult and then a kid little kid.
Yeah.
Kids who were tall enough could ride their own if they wanted to.
Yes. So I think the
but our
oldest
didn't want
grandkid,
to.
Sam, he didn't he, on his own?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was,
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I
he
would have been a
eventually
bit
did.
anxious as Nana.
Yeah, I think what they did was they got the kids to practice driving while they were on it, and then when he was ready, he had his own go. But it was so fun, and because we all went up together, you're just zooming down this thing, and honestly, as a spectator, it doesn't look that fast, but when you're on it, it's so fast,
Yeah.
and the kids are screaming, and boys are all trying to overtake each other, and it's just so much fun. And they checking out the different tracks, and you go through tunnels and over bumps and everything. And
Okay.
it's
Is
just,
there much of a wait?
yeah.
Like it like the skiing, you got to line up at the you know, the chairlifts and stuff. So
yeah, not really. It was moving
Okay.
pretty quickly. The
Okay.
biggest wait is when you first go, because all the beginners have to sort of show they know what to do.
All
But
right.
once you've
Okay.
done that, you skip the learner line and just keep going.
Okay. All right. And
Yeah.
So we'd recommend that for kids.
Oh yeah, and adults.
And well, not me.
It's
I don't want
amazing.
to do that. But there's
We,
outside of the cafe
look, if
area.
you're scared of,
Sorry, go on.
oh, yeah, sorry, I was going to say, if you're scared of heights, the chairlift might frighten you a bit if you're not keen on chairlifts. We had one moment where we were going up, and someone down the bottom had trouble getting on, so they actually stopped the chairlift. So we're all just hanging there in midair with the most amazing views. But if you're frightened, it wouldn't have been great. But
No, who's not frightened of heights?
no one's frightened. No, by that stage, we were all good.
Yeah.
And but it just started snowing. So
I know.
we're just sitting in the air, and the snow starts sprinkling.
Oh, when you're on
and
the chairlift.
when we were stuck on the chairlift.
Wow.
That's when it started. So
Oh.
the kids are trying to catch it on their tongues, and we're just like, is that snow? I think that's snow. And it just starts getting heavier and heavier. And it was,
so this is
was
the first time the
amazing.
kids have actually been in the snow, but they've actually seen snow falling.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
how magical is that?
Yeah, it was unreal. We'll remember that forever.
Oh,
Definitely.
wow. Well, meanwhile, I'm inside having a nice glass of wine, watching the two little ones. And I remember that time because I was watching the snow come down as well, but I didn't realize you were stuck on a chairlift at the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. So funny.
Yeah.
And they have, the cameras on all these rides.
Yes.
They always have cameras, so you can buy your photo later. And
sure.
My brother and his 3-year-old are sitting on the chair in front of us, and they've just stopped right at the camera, and it just kept taking photos so every 30 seconds.
Oh, I didn't know that either. So the whole wall downstairs is full of the boys. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. And I'll just sort of say too, like, so where we are at the top of the gondola is actually a restaurant. And so you can go up for lunch and stuff, but you can also go up the gondola at night. And I imagine the views up there from night would be spectacular. So
amazing.
Yeah.
So we all came back for some lunch and well-deserved mulled wine after our 6 laps on the leash.
And once again, if you want to see the photos, just check out episode 75 of the podcast on our website. But just sorry, before I finish on this subject, and then we had to catch the gondola back down, and it was still snowing. Remember? Yeah, it was so magical.
It was like being in a snow globe.
It was good
The
description.
kids are like, "This is a snow globe, Mum."
Oh, that's so cool.
I know. That's what it felt like. I've got this video of the snow just going around us as we're moving down the hill. It was so cool.
Magical. Magical's time. So, wow, we had some pretty special times in the snow with the kids, the skiing and now the luge and the snow falling around and everything. And the kids are just having an absolute ball. And so are the grown-ups, my grown-up kids and all the little kids. Yeah. And as well as Lyle and I, we're having a great time. But we didn't go with you, but there was you and Cody and Talia and their little ones, the younger kids. You all went to somewhere that you sort of did some research on called the Snow Farm, didn't you? You want to tell us about that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we had looked at what we could do for a bit of a drive out of Queenstown for maybe an afternoon.
Yes.
And we found this place called the Snow Farm, which was about an hour's drive from Queenstown. And honestly, it was the most unreal drive. It was spectacular, as I would say.
You would.
It was through these mountain ranges, and we were quite lucky we waited till the afternoon because it had been closed in the morning due to the snow. And it was one of these places where you just feel like, oh, this is where the Lord of the Rings is filmed.
Oh, really?
This is it. Yeah, like it wasn't like a recognizable landmark or anything. It just, you can
Felt
just
like
imagine it.
Mhm.
Yeah, just this other world. It was incredible. So we've done this drive. So the little kids would have a nap and our kids would have a bit of a quiet time after all the excitement. And eventually we get up after this winding road, going up and up and up this mountain, and all of a sudden everything turns white and there's snow everywhere, and it's the thickest snow we've ever seen in our lives. And we show up at this place called the Snow Farm.
Right.
And it's basically this place where they've set it up for cross-country skiers and different types of racing, snowshoeing.
Okay.
But they have this little area to the side that families can go to with a kind of tube area. So they obviously like a little road on a hill, and it's covered in snow in winter. So they let kids just slide down it in these big blow-up tires. And we thought, oh, that'll be perfect for the little kids. And they got out of the car. They could barely wait to get their gloves on, and they see this hill of snow, and they just start sliding down it on their tummies, not even waiting for the tubes.
And it was cheap, wasn't it? Like $20 or something. Like
oh,
it
yeah.
was, you know.
It's only about $20 each, $20, I should say. And I think our kids, so 4 and 7-year-olds, they were the perfect age. Like they loved riding down the tubes, and they had this area where with shovels and just fresh powdery snow where no one has been. And the kids just made a snowman, and there was a snow cubby that someone else had built, and they could just do snow angels and whatever they want. So, and the little kids, so my 3-year-old nephew, he loved it. The 1-year-old couldn't cope with the cold. It's probably the coldest we had been while we were in New Zealand.
Right.
So it's not great for babies, and it's not great for older kids.
Yes.
That primary school, preschool age is the ideal.
Yeah, so they can build snowman, which is all your kids wanted to do was, you know, like pick up some snow and throw a snowball and just make, as you said, just lie in the snow and slide in it and have a great time. And they had I remember you showing me like a not like a motorbike, but you know, a snowmobile that the kids could play on too.
Yeah, a snowmobile they could just climb on and have a look. It was, if your kids have never been to the snow, it was the perfect place to introduce them to it, because at the ski slopes, all the snow is just trodden on all day. It's a bit like it's hard, it's dirty.
Close to the cafe.
And then when it's falling from the sky, it obviously you can't pick it up and do your snowman and your snowballs. So this is what they had been waiting for when we told them we were going to the snow, just to get out and be able to play like till their hearts were full. You know, they just and we were saying, it's fine to eat that. I mean, they didn't ask permission, but they just start eating the snow. You're not worried about it because it seems clean. And
so basically they had a meal, like, was it like a diet of snow and hot chocolate?
Yeah, pretty much. That was their experience.
So what I'll do is I'll put a link to that in the show notes, and also the Skiwiland and any other things we're talking about, and in the interactive map on the website page, I'll put mark all these places we're talking about too, so you can actually go there and click on it and see where it is, and it gives you more information. So that's at the website with episode 75. So that'll be handy for people because I'd never heard of it.
It wasn't the first sort of thing that comes up on Google, because there's all these adventure extreme sports to do in Queenstown. we had to do a bit of searching to find that. But I've got
Well,
some good photos and videos too.
cool. Yeah. Well, actually, I'll link to you because you've done some articles on your website. So I'll put the link to that. Then I won't have to put all the photos on my website. So they go and see.
Sounds good. Got all the details.
Yeah. Go and check that out. Well, while we're talking, I want to come back because there's one other thing I know. I know most of the kids like. Not little 3-year-old Benji had a bit of a problem, but one of the things we did, and your kids didn't do it, you and Chris did, and I did, and I did it with Jake's eldest 2 boys, and Jake and Phoebe, was the jet boat ride. The day I did that, there was snow all over the ground, and and we did the original shot over one, and because I just remembered you saying before it was the coldest you've been. Well, this was the coldest I'd been, was doing this jet boat ride, and I did a little bit of research on it earlier. It started in 1965, so they've been doing it for a long time, and they've had over 4 million people do it, including Ed Sheeran. Lyle said to me, and there's been some famous people, and I said, like Lyle and Leanne from Beach Travel Wine. He didn't think that was that very funny.
Did you make the photo wall in the shot over jet room?
Maybe now. But it goes up to they go up to 90 kilometers an hour, these jet boats, right? And look, the water in some places is like 30 centimeters maybe deep, and it's.
I think they said they only need 10 centimeters to get through.
There's 2 big V8 engines, and they, as I said, 90 kilometers, and they're tearing through these cliffs, basically the canyons, and if you stuck your hand out, you'd lose it on the wall, and they go down rapids, a little, not big rapids, and then they do the 360 spins. Like they tell you they're going to do it, but it is adrenaline, it's heart, pumping. But I'm normally a scaredy cat. I totally love this.
Yeah, it surprised me. I thought you would be too scared.
No, I wasn't. And
I think that's one of the joy of traveling with kids, is that they make you be a little bit silly and pretend that you're not scared, or that you overact how scared you are, and it makes you turn it into fun, because you have to put on a brave face for someone else.
Yes, well, I got not shamed. I got I don't know. I got convinced to go because Phoebe, my daughter-in-law, said, if you do it with the kids, you'll be the coolest nana ever. And so that's a challenge one can't not accept.
To get you to do things.
But I'm so glad I did it. It was great. And I know it's your hubby Chris. I know it's would be his dream job to be a boat driver. So I did a bit of research for him, and 120 hours training. That's all it takes.
Wow. To get it precisely
yeah,
on that level so that you can go right next to the canyon without actually crashing.
Yeah, actually crashing. That's it. So
yeah. He would love to do that.
Yeah. But and that's at Arthur's Point. So that's sort of on the way between Queenstown and Coronet Peak. And on your way to the snow, you actually cross over that there's a bridge that you go over, and when you're actually doing the shot over jet, you go under this big arch bridge, and the photos back to 1965, the bridge is exactly the same, so they haven't done that bridge up. So, and I do have some spectacular photos of this, because the sun was shining, there was snow right down to the water. It was stunningly beautiful, and yes, I've got some and some fun photos of us in the boat as well. So check them out as well. They're a lot of fun, and I would definitely recommend that was a highlight for me.
Well, I thought it was a lot of fun, and it was the best way that we were going to be able to get in and see that area, because as you said, we drove over it every day and just thought, oh, that looks amazing. So it was awesome to do, and they're so they stop and tell you about the area and let you ask questions. So it's really informative too.
Yeah, that's true. I'd forgotten about that. They do. And it's the only company that can go in that area. It's like, there's no other way you can get into that. So that was, we did a lot, didn't we? Like this. Yeah. It was a full-on week.
So much. Yeah. And I think when you're there, they tell you about this little cave where you can go kayaking in the summer, and you just sort of realize that every time you do an activity, there's another one that you can do after it.
I know,
There's
there's
just
always something.
always more to do in Queenstown.
Always, yeah. And this was my, I think, the third or fourth trip, and I'm still discovering things. So, but just to maybe bring it back a little bit to we weren't always out doing stuff. We actually just walked into town a few days, few mornings, few afternoons, didn't we? And Queenstown, oh look, I don't know how many times can you say how beautiful a place is, but there's something magical about the waterfront at Queenstown that I just adore. It's the crystal clear water, the mountains with the snow on them, the beautiful big trees, the buildings around the edge of the water, the boats, and what they've got there, there's lots of stuff for kids to do, well, or not lots, but there's lots to see. And quite often there's a really good little playground up in the one end of the town, and there's a whole lot of ducks to feed, and that kept the kids amused a few hours, didn't it?
Yeah, they love doing that. And we waited sort of till the last day, I suppose, to do the ducks, specifically to use up our food scraps from the week. So all the bread we had left over. So we took that up and chucked all of that to the ducks, and they didn't have to throw it very far. They certainly very friendly.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
The kids love it. Yeah.
We fed them a couple of days. There was one down a bit further near that great big steamboat, and we fed them there. And then, as you said, on the last day, we're throwing all our bread out. And poor little 3-year-old, Cody's little boy Benji, they just all came for him at this one moment, didn't they? Poor little thing. And
he was holding the bread, and certainly 3, and they just start trying to get it out of his hand, and he just basically flew. He jumped so high.
I know.
I have never seen that in real life.
And he's
and
screaming.
The squeal.
And the worst part about it was we were all laughing at him because it was so funny.
Oh,
Not laughing at him.
It.
I know.
Definitely laughing at him. It was hilarious. It was so funny.
Oh, and there's that beautiful the Botanic Gardens there as well. Like, it's a lovely area to walk around. There's some big pine trees the kids can play hide and seek in, and we found this like rock cave for them to play in, and
they're just the giant trees for them to go under, and they pretend it's a cubby house. Like, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, so it's a magic spot, and of course that costs you nothing just to walk around there. And then they've actually just there's a cafe right there on the water, and a big playground, with big slippery dips and So
so this is a pretty new playground since we've been there last time, and it's massive. There's a little river that runs through the middle for kids who want to get up close. And then they've just got everything, stuff for small kids and bigger kids, and it's right near the cafe, which is perfect.
Yeah.
And then you can go down and skim rocks in the lake, which the kids love doing too. So
because the lakefront is there's rock, all rocks there. So, and once again, some beautiful photos. Like, I couldn't stop taking photos of that area. And even with the trees without all their leaves on them, it's still just beautiful. Anyone who hasn't got Queenstown, New Zealand on their travel list, you need to put it on, because we're just talking about the things you can do as a family, with little kids, but there's so much more to do. Mickey, you can you just tell us, you went out somewhere nice for dinner while Nana babysat for you? So you went to a nice Italian restaurant, I think.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
I'll have to get the name of it for you.
Oh, that's okay. There's so many to choose from. I guess my point was, I think Lyle found out there's like 150 odd restaurants just in this small. It's not, so there's so much choice, and look, isn't it?
We found that everything was pretty popular, and one of the best ways to find out where to go was just to ask whoever your tour guide or your ski instructor. They gave us great tips about where the most authentic thing was, or the one that the locals love. And we found this little Italian restaurant where our European tour guide had said it was the most like what you get over in Italy. So we had this authentic, oh, it's so hard to choose on the menu. That's the only problem with a good restaurant, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we just, yeah, it was
Mm.
amazing. So you were being a super cool nana and had the kids, and we went out for dinner and had some nice wine. And I think I got the blue cheese gnocchi, and Chris
Yeah, that
got a
sounds
pizza
good.
or something.
Yeah.
And they had like the little pizza ovens there, and oh, it was
Yeah.
divine.
And we are going to do a whole podcast just on the wine regions and the wines, but how good is the New Zealand wine? Like, you just
Amazing.
yeah. So there's lots of stuff for grown-ups as well.
Yes.
Not just kids. And you found for us that place, I can't think of what it's called, but like the wine place that you can actually go in and taste wines, you know.
Yeah, it was
Remember
like the wine bar or something. It was just the winery. Yeah, you go in and they just have all these amazing wines.
and you
Yeah,
pay
and I
like
mean
it's,
we
what do you call those things? Like a dispensing machine, you know, like, so they've got all
yeah.
the Pinot Gris here, and you can tap and, okay, we'll put some in this glass, a taste in this glass, you go over here and get that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. One of the other
Yeah.
things before we finish, Mickey, or is there anything else that you think we should tell everyone, you know, traveling to Queenstown, New Zealand with children? I think, you know, like, I've covered everything on my list, but if you've got anything else that I've left off.
Oh, look, I would just say that Queenstown itself, like it's not because of all the expensive activities to do. It's not necessarily the first place you would think to go with kids, but what we found was that there was so much there just to do in town, just enjoying the green spaces and wandering around. They had buskers, they had amazing, like, cafes are really happy for you to bring your kids in to get hot chocolates.
Yes.
The kids just love seeing the street entertainment, like the buskers and the markets, and we had street food on the weekends, and just watching the boats come in and the little shark submarines.
Yeah,
There's so
that's
much
right.
to do.
The parasailing too.
And
So, you know, you can sit there.
parasailing, yeah.
So much to watch, and that big steamboat that goes off as well. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot.
There was so much to do for all ages, whether you've got babies and you just want to enjoy the wide paths and going for walks around the lake, or up to, you know, teens and doing some really cool once in a lifetime experiences with them. It's a really awesome place to just make really good memories with your family.
Yeah, it was all a bit sad when it came to an end, wasn't it? We were
I
all
know.
a bit we're all a bit
Don't go for 1 week. You need longer.
Yeah, save your money though. It's not a cheap holiday, but
Yeah.
it's probably, well, it's one of my favorite things I've ever done was, you know, to spend a week with, you know, my whole family in this one of the most beautiful places in the world, and it's the experiences and seeing them all scared. In fact, one of the quotes that you had, which I love, because you went about 6 years ago, I think, was the first time we went, and there was only 3 grandchildren then, and your little
so I
girl
had a 1-year-old.
yes. Yep. And now this trip we've gone, and like, and your 1-year-old, she didn't even like the snow, you know, at all. Like, she was a bit like little Alex, you know, just not keen on the cold. This time, you know, your quote of the holiday was like, and now we're a skiing family, you know, like all of you skied, you know.
How did that happen?
Yeah, right. And Chris is a snowboarder, and yes. So how cool, you know, like 1 week in the snow and you're addicted.
Yeah, we're already trying to figure out when we can get back.
Yeah,
definitely.
I know. Yeah, well, that'll be the point when we're all together at Christmas. We'll be working that out. So, well, you know, the thing before we go, before we say goodbye, thank you anyway. But first, thank you so much for being my co-host, and I've been really looking forward to this because
thanks for having me.
It's not something we often talk about, is traveling with children, for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
but in our week together, our holiday, where was your favorite place to have a wine, Michaela?
Oh, look, I think my favorite one, there's so many. I'd have to pick a mulled wine after doing the luge ride and sitting up in the snow in the chairlift. I just felt like I really earned that, and the views were incredible, and it was just such a fun day. Just to sit up there on top of Queenstown is just magic.
Well, I was going to say up there as well, because I did enjoy my wine up there, but the rule is you can't say the same place. So, yeah, I'm going to say Coronet Peak, because there's something about when you've been out skiing, whether you're a beginner, whether you're experienced, once you get back down to the restaurant cafe and you're having a break for lunch or you finish for the day, you just feel like you're part of this incredible team, or I don't know, group or something, like you just feel part of it. And having that drink, celebrating the runs that you've done and what you've achieved for the day. That's one of my favorite places to definitely. I had a beer, but I say we had a wine. Yeah, just that feels pretty special to me.
Yeah, it is. It's everyone's on a high. It's so awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for joining. This is and if you want to go and check out Michaela's articles, all about you've done them about the snow farm and about skiing. You've done everything we've talked about. You've done in detail with photos and Queen, and all the links and that sort of stuff. And I'll put a link to her Michaela's webpage in the show notes for episode 75. But if you want to check it out for yourself, you're at easyfamilyadventures.com. Yeah.
That's
Good job. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, honey. All right.
Thank you.
All right. And I'll see everyone else on the next episode, where Lyle and I'll be back to wander around Queenstown again. Bye.